right, here we go. Remember all those businesses that applied for waivers to avoid the toughest Obamacare requirements? Well, Team Countdown found a list of close to 600 of them, including restaurant chains, Wendy's, Panera, and Cracker Barrel. Well, it turns out they may have had the right idea after all, after a shocking report was released that employer health care costs are about to skyrocket. You will not believe these numbers. And, well, you know what that means. If your employer is paying more for your insurance, you better be ready to pay up, too. Our next guest happens to run one of those popular restaurant chains, P.F. Chang's CEO Michael Osanloo, joining us right now. Good to see you, Michael.
Thank you, Lauren.
Let's start with health care.
Yeah.
Our Blake Berman did a report on this earlier, yesterday, in fact. The National Biz Group on Health says for next year, health care costs for big companies will be over $14,000 per employee, up almost $700 in just the last year, but rising for 5 years in a row. How do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're touching on one of the most challenging issues for any big restaurant company, for any company in America right now. And the reality is that ultimately it ends up either affecting your bottom line or your prices go up. So those are the two things that you really can do.
Have your prices gone up?
Our prices have. We've been in line with the rest of the industry. We haven't really gone. We're trying to figure out other ways of finding efficiencies. Maybe, you know, frankly, we're not hiring quite as much either. So, but we've been very thoughtful about this issue.
And see, that's the thing. When you get regulations or higher costs, good business leaders, to be effective, have to figure out ways to cut costs.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And it's affecting us in a lot of different places. We find, you know, you have to be smart about how much you're investing back in the business and what you're giving your investors versus customers versus your teams. There's always a balance.
Yeah.
You can't just think of one constituent.
You're located near shopping malls, for the most part, your restaurants. We've been talking on this network frequently about the death of the shopping mall, the retail ice age. Is that affecting you?
Well, interestingly enough, if you look at our business, we are in a blend of about 40% of our restaurants are traditional shopping malls, 60% are what we call lifestyle centers or standalone pads. The good news for us is that our business is actually performing equally well, whether we're a shopping mall or a freestanding pad. So that's, you know, that's good news. But what it means is I think that for shopping malls, you have to be really thoughtful as a landlord of how you merchandise the mall. Traditional big box is just not doing as well. And so restaurant companies, entertainment businesses, those are the things that are drawing people to those malls. And so I think for us in particular, it's an advantage. We have landlords who are very eager to have restaurant companies like P.F. Chang's in a mall because we pull traffic in. Yeah,
they need to bring that traffic back. I get it. Look, from one executive to another, the President of the United States, how's he doing?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think most Americans fully appreciate how complicated and regulatory driven it is to do business in America. I mean, I could make your hair turn white telling you crazy stories of what we have to deal with.
I already have some, so well, I don't need any more.
So, but yeah, so I think that the reality is that the president and a business-minded administration is a boon to the industry. And I think the president is doing a lot of things that will positively affect our industry and the broader economy. It's still a little early, to be honest with you, to see it all taking hold.
Real quickly, are you confident that we're going to get tax reform or tax cuts sometime this year? Because if that happens, if it's retroactive, customers are richer, they spend more money at your chain.
I'm confident the taxes won't go up for sure. And I think that was a danger that we all faced.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic that there will be tax reform and that taxes could go down.
All righty. We have to leave it there. Thank you for your time. By the way, favorite dish on the menu?
Oh, I love our Kung Pao chicken. I can't get enough of it. It's fantastic.
Good to know. Michael Osanloo, CEO of P.F. Chang's.